Okay, the Switch 2 presentation is tomorrow. I was gonna make a whole predictions video on it, but I ran out of time, so I'm gonna try and edit something pretty quickly and just record things live. We'll see how this goes. Alright, so we know Mario Kart 9. Maybe they're gonna call it Mario Kart X, it doesn't matter. That was revealed during the Switch 2 official reveal, so that's probably gonna show up. As for any smaller predictions I have about it, I think there might be a course maker in this. I think that'd be really cool. Hold on, let me just pull up the... We got a little brief look at the new Mario Kart. I don't know about you guys, but the way that it looks very flat to me. Not in a bad way or anything, but I think that one of the possibilities we might see is that they want to make use of the mouse mode of the Joy-Cons, right? One way to do that is to offer the ability to use the mouse in order for creation, because it's really annoying to have to use a joystick to move around a cursor. And I think they want to show that off as best they can in something for their first year. So I think a good way to do that is to offer a Mario Kart track builder in the next Mario Kart. You can see they have kind of a very flat place here. There isn't a lot of verticality to it, because this is a very unusual Mario Kart track. It's very flat. There seems to be not a lot of obstacles besides a few cars here and there. Why could that be? It could be that this is something they're gonna push in a story mode or a single player campaign or something, where maybe while you're driving along here there's some story happening or something like that. Because Mario Kart tracks usually tend to be more interesting than just this very wide, very horizontal plane of track without anything too interesting happening. I feel like something's gonna happen. Either that, or this is an example of a blank canvas that somebody can use to create their own course. Another thing that people have been talking about is possibly a new Mario, a new 3D Mario coming out. And I think that would be really cool. I don't think it's gonna happen. I know it's been so long since Mario Odyssey. It's been, 8 years now? We have gotten Bowser's Fury, which kind of makes up for the gap for some people, but it has been a long time. And yes, I agree that we are overdue. I don't think it's gonna happen though. I don't think that we're gonna get a new Mario Kart and a new 3D Mario in the same year. I think Nintendo will want to wait a little bit longer between the two. With Bowser's Fury, a lot of the 3D Mario development team probably had to spend a lot of time working on that. Since Bowser's Fury only came out in 2021, I don't think they've been working on the next 3D Mario for 8 years or something. I think it's only been 4 years max since Bowser's Fury. I think we're still a little bit farther off. I think it's probably going to be a year 2 title, but I don't expect to see it in the first year. What I am expecting to see in the first year though is a new Animal Crossing. I haven't really seen this brought up too much, but I think it's a lot more possible than a lot of people give it credit for. Animal Crossing was huge. It's, I think, the second best-selling game on the Switch. It got millions of people to buy a Nintendo Switch. So if this was a launch title or even just released in the first few months, that would make tens of millions of people buy a Switch 2 right out the gate just for this game. Because a lot of people bought a Switch 1 just for Animal Crossing New Horizons. Nintendo knows this is a big deal now, and it's been 3 years since the last one. If they make a sequel that just iterates on New Horizons, adds a bunch of new features, but still keeps the whole island, a lot of the mechanics, then I think that they could release Animal Crossing this year. Plus, since we know that the Joy-Cons are going to be able to act as mice, maybe the mice could be a good way for people to create islands or customize their rooms or create patterns for art in a really cool way. Take something like this, for example, the Happy Home Paradise thing, where you spend a lot of time in your house placing stuff down, or in somebody else's house placing stuff down. Wouldn't this be a lot easier if you had a mouse? I feel like they could really lean into the whole customization side of things when it comes to using the mouse in Animal Crossing. And that way, it makes it a much more social thing. You can share your creations with other people. Alright, as for Pokemon, I don't know if we're going to see any of this. I feel like they might want to focus on new stuff that they haven't already talked about. I could very well see them not mentioning Pokemon Legends ZA or Metroid Prime 4 at all. Maybe in a sizzle reel or something near the end. I think they want to focus on new stuff. Speaking of new stuff, it has been a while since Splatoon 3. I think long enough since Splatoon 3 for them to push out something new. I think they've already done the final Splatfest stuff for Splatoon 3, and it hasn't been as long since Splatoon 3 as it was between Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3. But I think they might be willing to pump out Splatoon 4, whatever it is, a little bit earlier to coincide with the launch of the Switch 2. Include the new mouse as part of the optional controls. I think they really want to push into that whole online competitive scene and using the mouse for as many applications as possible, because they're kind of leaning into it in a lot of the advertising, so far at least from the one trailer we've seen. I think they're going to want to make that new feature seem as enticing as possible, so they're going to want to make it useful in a lot of different ways, outside of just the kind of 1-2 Switch casual console gimmick game that they're probably going to release as well. As for the stuff about the system itself, I think $400 is probably going to be pretty good. Some people think it's going to be $450 or $500 because of the tariffs and stuff. I think Nintendo is going to try and shoot for as low as possible. I could maybe see them doing like a $400 model that only has 64 gigabytes of storage and like maybe a $450 model that has 256 gigabytes of storage, but I don't think they're going to want the base model to be any more than $400. As for the C button, you don't see it here, but there is going to be a C button. They've blanked out the C here, but we know there's a C button, and it's going to be used for something. I don't know what it's going to be for. Yeah, I have no clue. C, some people think it's going to be cast where you can like stream what's on the Switch to the TV. I don't think it's going to be that. I guess it could stand for like cursor or something. Alright, this one might not be as exciting, but they're probably going to push out Mario Maker 3. It's like a perfect use for the new mouse, and they've stopped updating Mario Maker 2 for like 5 years. Some people think that they might make the jump to like a 3D Mario Maker, call it Super Mario Maker 3D. I don't really see that happening. I think they want to keep things as simple and straightforward as possible, and creating stuff in 3D is kind of a headache, even if you did have a mouse. I could easily see a new Mario Maker 3 coming out this year, maybe like near the launch of the Switch 2, just to like have a great use of the mouse feature. Okay, I'm gonna do a pretty out there prediction right now. So we're definitely not getting a new Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom only released a couple of years ago, and Echoes of Wisdom released last year. So it's too early for a new 3D Zelda or a new 2D Zelda. But what I could see them doing is a remake of some sort. I feel like this would be the place for Nintendo to like show off the power of the new system, because we're dealing with PS4, maybe PS4 Pro type power, and those games are incredible to look at. This is going to be a pretty out there prediction, but I think that they might remake Twilight Princess for Switch 2. It was one of the best received Zelda games still to this day, and its tone, its kind of realism, or its kind of more realistic, serious art style, it lends itself to having a really cool remake. Imagine like Twilight Princess in the style of that Zelda Wii U demo, or maybe something more modern like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Just making this game as beautiful as it could be with the power of like a PS4 Pro. Like, I think that could be a really cool, flashy way to show off the power of the new Switch. As for anything else, I think those will be the major Nintendo first-party announcements. I could see them upping the price of Nintendo Switch Online $20 a year to $30 a year, even though I really don't want that to happen, but I feel like it's probably going to. $20 a year is pretty generous when it comes to Nintendo, and I don't think they're going to keep that up for long. I think we're probably going to see a lot of third-party stuff in this Direct, a lot more than we saw in the original Nintendo Switch presentation. I feel like Elden Ring is a pretty good bet for something that could appear on Switch 2. It was already on PS4, and the Switch 2 will probably be just as powerful, if not more. And Dark Souls came to Nintendo Switch, so this is not out of the question. I don't think we're going to get a lot of other PS4 exclusives, as much as I would love to see like Spider-Man or God of War make their way to the Switch. I think Sony is going to be pretty strict when it comes to keeping Sony stuff away from Nintendo stuff. The only exceptions we've gotten have been like second-party Sony games like Persona and stuff. Crossing my fingers for Spider-Man on Switch, but I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, my final prediction on what the Switch 2's first year will be, I think it'll launch in July. My bet is that it's going to only have one model available at launch. It's going to be the Switch 2 for $400, 256 gigabytes of storage, and it'll launch with Mario Maker 3 and Metroid Prime 4. I think August, Twilight Princess Remake will launch, or to show off the huge power of the Switch 2, still giving Metroid Prime 4 its time in the spotlight. Then in September, we'll see the new Animal Crossing, and then we'll end off the year with Mario Kart and Pokemon Legends ZA. I think that's an excellent first year, even if it doesn't include stuff like a new 3D Mario that I would love very much. Yeah, that's about all I got for predictions. I hope I'm wrong about the 3D Mario thing. I would love to see that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Alright, yeah, let me know what you guys think, and see you guys tomorrow.